Kimbark Coyotes, and welcome to this edition of Crazy Critters. With me today is Mr. Bill Hoffman. He is the curator at the Big Bear Zoo. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we want to know, how long have you been working at the zoo?
Oh, that's a great question. I just started here
Okay.
in October of 2020.
Okay.
And I came here from SeaWorld. I worked there for 36 years. And so I have a lot of background with different types of animals, and it just seemed like a perfect fit.
And what was the attraction to going from the ocean to the mountains?
Well, this facility is 100% dedicated to animals. So the animals you see here in the zoo are all rehabilitated animals that were either nuisance animals, or they were injured, or they were orphaned and raised by people to the point where they became imprinted and could not be released. Our goal is to rescue animals and return them to the wild as quickly as possible. We do that about 80% of the time. So the ones you see here are the ones that could not survive without us.
Wow. And how long has the Big Bear Zoo been around doing this kind of work?
Well, the Big Bear Zoo started in 1959, and it was a bunch of volunteers. They got together, there was a fire in the area. Some of the local animals were injured by the fire and they needed a place to be rehabilitated. So that was the very beginning of the Big Bear Alpine Zoo. So Pooh Bear came to us a little bit older, and he's from the Sierra Nevada area.
Okay.
He was also a nuisance bear. He was a 3 strikes bear, so he had gotten into trash, vehicles. The 3rd strike was a honey farm where he had devastated a bunch of hives, thousands of dollars worth of damage. That's how he got his name Pooh Bear, because Pooh Bear loves honey. And all of these animals were at risk for euthanasia because there's no place for them. So we try to provide a home for them that makes sense. And then we try to educate people about things like throwing apple cores or really stuff that we consider biodegradable out the window, because yeah, they smell it. They got a 10 times better sense of smell than a dog. So they have a really good sense of smell. It smells delicious. They're natural foragers. They might not be aware of cars, in the example of huckleberry, and food smells really good. So when you go camping, make sure you put it far away from the campground, secure everything, don't leave trash, because bears get into it and then they come back because they're smart. They learn a food source. They make little rules in their brains. If I go here, I know there's food available. So they become repeat offenders, and that's dangerous for them and for people.
Sure, sure.
3 grizzlies. They're all 3 here. The one in the back, kind of twitching his paw in the back of this pile, that's Harley. This is Ayla right here. Ayla's walking towards us, and then lying down in the substrate pit is Mama. Hi. Tutu. So she's smelling us right now. See how she's sticking her nose up in the air?
Yeah.
She's picking up all the different scents. She thinks we smell delicious. She wants to know if we want to join her for lunch.
All right, ready? So Bill, how many animals do you have roughly here at the zoo?
Well, we average about 95 to 98 animals, depending on what animals are coming in and what animals are being returned to the wild.
Okay. And how was the zoo impacted by the pandemic?
Oh, that's a great question. So a couple of things. The old location actually had to close temporarily and then open with COVID restrictions, the masks, the limited number of guests in the gift shop and things like that. We also moved the entire zoo during the pandemic. So it closed in on September 20th, and they moved all the animals here on the 25th. And then we did our USDA inspection in November, and the zoo opened on November 5th.
That must have been a huge undertaking. 5 days, you moved from one zoo to the other?
All the large animals. We still have a few of the smaller animals. You'll see there's an empty aviary right here for songbirds. This is our nocturnal house where we're going to move our flying squirrels and our ringtails. But other than that, the only other animals up at the zoo are rehab animals. It's a nice quiet environment. It gives them a chance to recover from any injuries they might have received.
Nice. And what would you tell people, how can they help the zoo, or how can they help wildlife in general?
Oh, great question. So we have two groups that their sole purpose is to support the zoo. One is the Friends of the Big Bear Alpine Zoo, and they've been supporting our zoo for decades. They are a fundraising group, and they are also nonprofit. So if you look up friendsofthebigbearzoo.org, you can see there's different ways to donate. You can come and buy a membership to the zoo, which also supports the Friends of the Big Bear Zoo, which ultimately comes back to the animals.
Got it.
There's also a group called the Ney Foundation. The Ney Foundation is named for somebody who is very generous and donated a very large amount of money based upon their will. So they gifted us all this money. They are still in operation, and they are looking for more donations to support the zoo.
Cool. And what about wildlife?
Wildlife in general?
Yeah.
The best piece of equipment to observe wildlife is a pair of binoculars and a camera. Watch them from far, respect them, don't try to help them, don't try to feed them. If you see an animal that looks like it might be in danger or separated from its mom, take a step back, wait, be patient. You can call us, you can call you can call Project Wildlife, you can call some of the other rescue facilities and ask them. They'll be able to guide you correctly. If you see an animal that looks like it's in distress, whether mom might be hunting, it might be absolutely fine. It might just be a young animal. And so it's really important to take your time when you're assisting animals and make sure that they really need assistance. Once they come into our hands, we have no option of returning them to their parent because we don't know where mom is and when they return. So it's really important to watch from afar, really enjoy animals, do your research, get books on animals, read about them, look for them in nature, but leave them in nature wherever possible.
Well, that's it for this episode. Please come and join us at the Big Bear Zoo. Check out all the animals. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman, so much for allowing us to come up today. Please share this video with your friends and family. Like us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.